Well, I'm here at Covert Ford in Hutto, Texas, after leaving my 2019 Ford Mustang GT Performance Pack 2 with them for 10 days to look at gear grinding issue in third gear and the little door rattle noise I had, and I did a video on, and also had them do the first oil change, which was free with the Ford Pass Connect points. Finally get my Mustang back. That's a rough 10 days, I tell you. It's gonna be good to have her back, at least. They did say they were able to fix the door noise, which is good, but they said they couldn't find anything mechanically wrong with the gearbox or anything like that. I mentioned the synchros. You know, I mentioned that it progressively might get worse. They said it's under warranty. You know, if it gets worse, bring it back in. I guess I just have to deal with it. It doesn't do it all the time, but it always does it when you don't want it to do it. When you least expect it, when you're wanting to, get on from second to third, accelerating from second and going into third, a little bit hard. That's when it does it. Normal driving doesn't really do it, but it's still an awesome car. I would not really fault the car, the Mustang itself, maybe just the transmission a little bit, the MT-82s, but you can always upgrade that down the road. Hopefully that won't ever leave me stranded or without a vehicle because of that, although I was out without a vehicle for 10 days. Luckily I have spares. But it did give me a chance to drive the Jeep a little bit more, which I don't normally. I drive the Jeep a lot, but usually it's on the weekends or whenever I go off-roading. But I got to take it to work a lot and enjoy it a little more. It's actually a lot of fun, even driving on-road, even though it's not a really fast or good handling vehicle. There's just something about riding it that makes you feel good. As soon as I drove off the lot from Covert Ford of Hutto, Texas, and proceeded to shift into third gear, I experienced the gear grind that had prompted me to bring the car to the dealership in the first place. This grind doesn't happen all the time, but happens about once per day that I drive the car. It appears to happen when shifting from second gear to third gear and when moderate throttle application is given, usually around 4,500 RPMs or higher. This can be very alarming when shifting at those RPMs, since the entire drivetrain is under a lot of torque and strain when this occurs. Although I did not capture on video the gear grind that happened immediately after leaving the dealership lot, I did manage to capture it the following day while driving to work. There it is. The manual transmission gearbox in Mustangs, specifically the Getrag MT-82 transmission that is in this Mustang and has been used in Mustangs since 2011 when they introduced the 5.0-liter Coyote V8, has been notorious for having issues such as this. In fact, there was even an investigation conducted by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, that investigated these shifting issues that one article said ranged from binding gears through excessive noise and vibration. You would think that if Ford has known about this issue for almost 10 years, that they'd seem a little more accommodating towards remedying it. The service advisor that I was working with told me that, quote, "These vehicles are a little mechanically loud," and that despite having recreated the gear grind during their technician's test drive, he proceeded to tell me that they couldn't find anything physically or mechanically wrong. In the end, he told me to bring it back to them if the issue gets worse. Mind you, they kept the vehicle for 10 days in order to diagnose this issue, along with the rattle noise and oil change, which they said took them, quote 20 minutes to perform at the very end. I really don't feel like leaving it with them again for another 10 days just to diagnose this issue again and tell me again that there's nothing they can do. If it's already grinding gears now at around 1,500 miles on the vehicle, it's probably just going to get worse, I would think. I mean, at one point, does this cause enough damage that it ruins the transmission? Or, you know, by the time it is that bad, it's going to be out of warranty and there's nothing they can do about it anyway. Maybe it's just my opinion, but a $50,000 vehicle, $50,000 performance-oriented vehicle shouldn't be grinding gears in its gearbox. And especially if it's something that's been known to be an issue for many years by the Ford Motor Company. You think they would have either remedied it or done something. My 2016 Ford Mustang GT with the Performance Pack 1, I don't recall it doing grinding gears this much. I don't think it had this. It may have done it like once or twice, and I owned it for about 4 or 5 months, and it just didn't have this issue. Maybe it's this particular gearbox itself that is having this issue, but it sounds like they don't want to do anything, or at least at this point don't want to say replace the transmission or fix it. Maybe it's the synchros. This vehicle I bought brand new just about 2.5 months ago, and it should not have this issue. And it doesn't really bother me most of the time. If I'm just driving normal, it doesn't do it. But it does it when I'm least wanting it to do it. And that's when you're trying to moderately accelerate. If you went to pass somebody, it would probably do that. So with that, I'm just going to keep driving it and see how it goes. If it gets to the point again where it's just bugging me so much that, I don't know, I'll probably take it to him again. But I'm hoping that this kind of puts this out there that something else needs to be done. Hopefully, maybe it'll just, I doubt it's just going to cure itself. I did read somewhere on a forum somewhere that maybe changing the transmission fluid out might help, but I'm not sure about that. I mean, should it need a transmission fluid change at 1,500 miles? Anyway, I will post up any updates to this in the future, and hopefully there's something that can be done to remedy the issue. But overall, it's a great vehicle. I like everything about it. Other than that, it drives fantastic. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Hopefully you like this and can check out some of my other videos, and if you like what you see, like and subscribe, and catch you on the next one. Just love that sound.